Hello friends, today we will learn to make this temple in line and wash method. Before anything, we need to make a simple sketch of the temple that we have to make. I'm using a pencil right now and I will do over it with a black pen as well. For making the temple or the outline, we have to make sure that we are looking at the reference picture and angles of the walls, the roof, etc., which is the perspective of it needs to be captured perfectly. I used a pencil right now to see the angle of the roof coming in. It's fun to do line and wash, or ink and wash, or pen and wash as people call it as well, and it gives you experience with handling watercolor as well in an easy manner. So slowly and steadily I am making the framework of the temple, which we will color later. If you want to learn watercolor, you can start by line and wash, which gives you very quick and fun results and prepares you for further watercolor techniques. While doing the outlinings, we have to make sure that the lines are parallel to each other. So if you've taken an angle of a wall or a roof, the next ones to it should be in the same line and angle. You don't have to worry about capturing all the parts of the temple or the building at this stage. We need to capture whatever we are capturing perfectly, which means in the proper line and angle. But as you see in the reference picture, there are multiple sub buildings in the structure, which I'm not making as a whole. I've just chosen to pick up 4 and I will be working with that. Very quickly the sketch is ready, and very soon we will be working on it with the ink as well, or a black pen as well. Now I decided to do up the final 5th structure as well, otherwise the right side was looking a little empty. Now that the pencil work is done, I am using a micro pen, black color, to do the lines over it, and I will erase the pencil marks. For making the lines with a black pen, you needn't make the entire line straight. You have to leave marks in between so that it looks a little pretty. If you make one line from left to right with the same texture, depth, darkness, thickness, straightness, it will not look that well. So you need to leave things in between and make sure that lines are not accurately 100% straight like as in a scale. But of course the perspective etc. need to be followed. I'm leaving marks here and there to give only the reference to the walls or the window or the angle where I need to give it. So if you see in the corners, I have not joined both the lines, and that will also make it look pretty. Basic of any artwork is a drawing. If your outline and the core drawing has come out well, then your final product will also come out well. As you see, I am not making the entire square or the rectangular structure of the windows, leaving it here and there, and that makes it look a little pretty, or brings in some element of art in it. And very soon our outline will be ready. Once the outlining is done, I am using a kneaded eraser to erase the pencil marks which we had laid earlier. And then comes the time for coloring. For coloring, I have chosen blue, and I am leaving water with a little purple here and there, and not bothering about making it even color or shade. Picked up little green for the left and right as well, because we have to make some greenery, and lifted some piece of it which I thought was too much. Looking at the reference picture where the shadows are coming or where the darkness is, I'm firstly giving color there. Now you don't have to obsess over which color it would be. I've chosen yellow and some brown, and I'm lifting color from where I wanted the greenery to come. Again, I'm taking the areas where I want shadows to be. And if you see, I'm not using the brush and giving it even tone everywhere. I'm leaving marks here and there just for reference, and that will look pretty, because there are lines which will show you the starting or the ending point of your building. Now taking a little darker color and leaving it around the shadows as well, under the roof, because that's where the darkness would be, and on the left hand side, if I'm believing that the sun is coming from the right, so towards the left of the building where the darkness would be, I'm leaving more of the color there. And again, I'm not shading it or giving the color evenly. I'm leaving here and there with some marks so that the effect of watercolor comes in. Giving some slant lines to show the shadow behind the building. And now taking lighter color for where the light is coming in. As long as the color is wet, you can lift it with the tissue paper, which I just did. Now leaving some lines where the element of the tomb would be, there is some architecture or some carvings there, so I'm leaving some marks here and there to show the carvings and the architectural beauty. Using some yellow mixed with green to give the base of my greenery, and leaving some darker green in between. Don't obsess over which color, what shade, etc. As long as it's green and it looks fine, it's okay. I'm spreading some green color across for foliage, a little darker one, and I'm lifting whatever I may have spread here and there. Using the dryer to dry out the color so that I cannot do over. Once again, now working on the shadow areas. The previous one is dried out, so once the color dries, it becomes a little lighter. So I'm doing over with darker color on the areas of shadow, and also once again giving some touch points here and there for the architectural work or the carvings that may have been there. Don't rush through this process. You need to see as to where you are giving the shadows, and don't underestimate the power of what you had done earlier, which is the first or the second layers. So whatever wash you had given earlier will show through your second wash as well, and that's the beauty of watercolor. And I'm going over again on wherever I want the darker shades to be. Looking at the reference picture, you don't have to do precision. You have to use your imagination and your artistic element to draw something. So the shape of the temple has started coming in. I'm leaving brown color here and there on the bottom as well, but like I said, you don't have to make exact things when you're talking about watercolor. Just leaving some color, giving a feel of it helps. I had left more color on the smallest tomb, which I'm lifting with a tissue paper. I'm wetting the area and lifting it with a tissue paper. That's what we can do. Corrections in watercolor happens, but they cannot happen as deeply as in acrylic or oil paint. So we have to be a little careful about applying the colors. And watercolor is a medium of accidents, so we have to make do with the accidents and learn to play with it. Now what I'm doing is I'm hiding the temple and spraying water on the bottom area, which is the foliage, because I wanted it to spread. After drying the paper, once again I'm going on to the shadow areas with the darkest of the color, and probably this would be my last layer. We have to also be very cautious about not overdoing anything, because it's very easy to keep working and overdoing stuff, which sometimes spoils the painting and the artwork as well. Watercolor is about simplicity, and we tend to overdo things at times. Giving the dark shades in the shadows, windows, doors, etc. And as you see, I'm not doing it evenly like a square. I'm just leaving some color for the feel, and the rest our eyes will imagine. And we find it pretty when it's not very evenly squared out. Giving the final finishing touches to my artwork, and very soon we will work on the flag. Now, because the size of the flag is small, I've decided to do it a few times over to give multiple shades and feel to it. So I gave the color once, lifted it, and now I'm again lifting it with the brush and tissue paper, so that there are few elements and shades inside the single small flag. And once again leaving the color here and there, and not evenly, so that it looks like that it's not flat. Now wherever a lot of darkness is, I'm wetting the area there and lifting the color. That's what you can do to make it lighter. You can never go back to white again, but yes, you can wet the area and lift where you believe we have accidentally left more color. And that is it. We are done with our artwork. This is the final product. Hope you liked the tutorial. Please like, share and subscribe for weekly videos. Thank you.